Oh, Hoodie, monument to the durable. Fast friend, uncomplaining sucker of sweat. In our most trying times, you still tried. When other garments stopped at the neck, you said, oh no, the head needs a garage. Our arms would pull off well before yours, yet this is how we treat you.
The lights of New York City on this 10th night of September, and across the Hudson River in East Rutherford, New Jersey is Giant Stadium, where tonight Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are the brightest lights on the marquee. When the 256-game NFL schedule came out last spring, if you had to pick one game you wanted to see, this would be the one. Indianapolis comes in to the Meadowlands. What a buzz in this stadium tonight as the New York Giants get ready to take on Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts on NBC Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer. Welcome to the Meadowlands, where brotherly love will be put on hold tonight. Peyton Manning against Eli Manning. The Colts last year, perfection through mid-December, but then they lost 2 games, finished 14-2, and were shocked by Pittsburgh and bounced out of the playoffs in their first game. Will this finally be the year for the Indianapolis Colts, who've come so close? Now, the New York Giants last year surprised everybody, won the East at 11-5. They thought they might be heading for Detroit, then all of a sudden a dose of reality in their playoff game as they were shut out by Carolina. Now, John, let's take a look, of course, at Manning against Manning. We know that's the headline tonight, but they're not going to face each other. There will be units, though, that will face each other. What do you think? Where is the battle tonight that will determine who wins this game?
You know, I think it's in pass protection. You know, when you talk to Eli Manning, he's not talking about, as you say, he playing against Peyton Manning. He's talking about, you know, the pass rush of the Colts, getting those 2 defensive ends by. Then you talk to Peyton, he's not talking about playing against Eli. He's talking about, you know, pass protection. Can we get time? Can we get Strahan block? Those kinds of things. Those are going to be the big matchups. Although, you know, you still feel that there's more pressure on Peyton than there is Eli, because he's the big brother. He's a 9-year veteran. You just can't lose to your little brother.
You know, we've watched Peyton Manning for so long, a legitimate superstar, probable future Hall of Famer. We know a lot about him. Eli Manning in his 3rd year, people haven't seen that much of him. Where is he in his evolvement right now?
You know, I think he's really maturing. You know, towards the end of last season, he had a pretty bumpy road. And talking to him and watching him practice, watching him in preseason, I think he learned from that. He learned that I don't have to force the ball, that maybe the worst thing that can happen isn't an incomplete pass, that that's okay. But I'll tell you, there's one big thing that he has. He has a running game with Tiki Barber.
It's that New York roar. There's nothing like it. Here we go. What's been dubbed the Manning Bowl. Colts, Giants.
NBC Sunday Night Football is brought to you by General Motors, a new level of quality, a new level of confidence. By Sprint, together with Nextel, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. And by GE, Imagination at Work.
Presentation of the National Football League. National Football League.
5 years ago tonight, the Giants opened their season in Denver. And shortly after flying back home, the attacks of September 11th, 2001 rocked our nation. And you're looking at the site in Lower Manhattan of the World Trade Center, about 10 miles from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford. And as this 5th anniversary is commemorated, and you look at Mayor Giuliani, let's join the public address announcer at Giant Stadium.
National Anthem, which will conclude with a flyover by 3 Black Hawk helicopters.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very moving scene. The former mayor embraced by Jeremy Shockey on this 10th night of September. Giant Stadium, as always, filled to capacity. So many of these people come to every game and have been coming to every game as the tickets get willed down through the generations. And there are the Mannings, Olivia and Archie, with a little bit of interest in tonight's game. John talking about this has to be toughest, of course, on Mom.
Right, because she's the one that watches her son on every play throughout the play. The father will watch the start of the play, then he'll watch the ball as it goes downfield, so will the brother.
And to Archie's left shoulder is Cooper Manning, who is the oldest of the Manning boys. Very successful in his own right. And how unusual would a matchup like this be? Well, in 87 seasons in the National Football League, counting this afternoon, 12,183 games have been played. Never has a brother started against a brother at quarterback. And not only that, but I mean, to have a legitimate superstar and a star in the making in Tony Dungy and the Indianapolis Colts. Tony begins his 5th year at the helm in Indianapolis after a successful stint turning around Tampa Bay. Tom Coughlin, who spent 8 years at Jacksonville, now in his 3rd year as the head coach of the New York Giants. Jay Feely will kick off. Indianapolis will start with the ball, and they will start, of course, as they always do, with no huddle.
And we've been waiting for this one since April, when the schedule first came out.
It's finally here, and the kick goes to the goal line. Terrence Wilkins, who had been with Indianapolis in the past, went to Canada last year and now comes back, and he runs it back up to the 33-yard line. Quickly, we'll take a look at the Colts offense.
Peyton Manning, Tennessee.
Dominique Rhodes, Abilene Cooper High School.
Marvin Harrison, Syracuse.
Reggie Wayne, the U.
Dallas Clark, University of Iowa.
Ben Utech, Minnesota.
Hart Glenn, Cal.
Dylan Gandy, Texas Tech University.
Jeff Saturday, North Carolina.
Jake Scott, University of Idaho.
Ryan Dean, Northern Illinois.
Reggie Wayne calling it the U, which most of the guys from the University of Miami do, is Manning will take the first snap of the game. Peyton at the 34-yard line. Edgerrin James is gone, now plays for Arizona, so Dominique Rhodes is the running back. He and the rookie Joseph Adai. And they fake it on play action. Manning goes to the left side, and Manning's first pass of the game is complete to Reggie Wayne. Despite the presence of Marvin Harrison, Wayne led the team in receptions last season.
Yeah, the Colts come out in 2 tight ends. And they put Dallas Clark in the slot, and he was on the slot over here on the right. Reggie Wayne was over in the left. He gave the play pass and then came back to that backside. You just have the feeling the Colts are going to come out passing.
That consecutive game streak for Manning starts with the first game of his rookie season, so he has never missed a start. Peyton gesturing, and that's something you see him do all the time, but he normally gets up to the line early, so the play clock rarely gets down under 5. As Dominique Rhodes takes it across the 50 to the 49, here's the Giants defense.
Michael Strahan, the Texas Southern University.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern. Fred Robbins, Wake Forest. Osi Menyor, Nigeria.
Mr. Nichols, School of Hard Knocks.
Antonio Pierce, Mount San Antonio Junior College.
Carlos Emmons, Greenwood High School.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Will Demps, San Diego State.
Jabril Wilson, Tennessee.
Sam Madison, Louisville.
Arrington with a completely different twist that time. He comes over from Washington. The pass deflected, intended for Reggie Wayne, and that's incomplete.
Yeah, we look at the Colts, and again, this is a no huddle. The guys kind of all coming in. Wide receivers stay out there, as you see. Everyone comes close to Peyton Manning. He makes the call. You can see Dominique Rhodes is up there by the line. And then after they get in here, this crowd noise will not bother them because they're going silent count.
And they will for the entire game. 3rd and 6. Manning out of the shotgun. Slings it to the outside. That's caught, and picking up the first down is Ben Utech, the second tight end. He's run out by Corey Webster. We may see a little bit more of Utech tonight, and Dallas Clark, the other tight end as well. They're -1 receiver. Their number 3 guy, Brandon Stokely, on the bench tonight on the shelf with an injury.
Yeah, we were talking about the matchups. Here's a big one right here. Michael Strahan, one of the best pass rushers in football, against Ryan Dean, the right tackle of the Colts.
2 minutes into the game. Strahan with 129 career sacks. And that's Untitled who got in that time, but Manning is able to escape and get the pass off to Marvin Harrison. So close to a sack, but typical of Peyton, feeling the pressure, stepping up, and completing it for a gain of 8.
You know, they have speed on both ends. We saw, Strahan to play before, and here comes Untitled from this side now. They have 2 guys on him, the tight end and the tackle, and Untitled gets by both of them.
2nd down and 2 on the game's opening drive.
The more of this Peyton does closer to the snap of the ball, the more the crowd gets into it.
And on the ground, Dominique Rhodes carries for the first time. For so many years, very much like Dallas with the triplets, they had Edgerrin James as the 3rd triplet, but no longer.
You see, and Tom Moore is sending, that's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator there, sending the plays into Peyton Manning. He gives them 3 plays. He gives them 2 runs and a pass. And so he can either run outside, run inside, and if they have 8 men up, he counts the box. If they have 8 men up, then it goes to a pass.
3rd and 1. They put the defensive lineman Darrell Reed in the game as a fullback, number 95. 4 on the play clock. So this time it goes all the way down. and they give it to Rhodes, and with a good spin move, he's able to pick up the first down. Barry Cofield, the rookie tackle from Northwestern, a fourth-round draft choice, getting the start. Almost had him in the backfield, but a good spinorama and a first down.
That was a good spinorama because you said the Cofield did the thing that usually fouls up a short yardage play. He gets penetration. You're going to see him get across the line of scrimmage and get right in there, and then he's in position to make the tackle, and then the spinorama happens.
At the 31-yard line, first down for Indianapolis. Manning stepping up. Protection breaks down, and down he goes. That's Fred Robbins, number 98, who picks up the Giants' first sack of the season.
You know, that happens a lot when you get that pressure coming from the ends. The way the quarterback is going to beat that is by stepping up. So he gets the pressure from the outside. Now when he goes to step up, he does what? He steps right into Fred Robbins.
It's like in hockey where Strahan and Vinatieri would get the assists, and Robbins gets the goal.
And that's why those tackles, those inside guys, have to get a push.
2nd and 14. The ball is at the 35-yard line. And nothing happening as they go to the ground on 2nd down and long, just to keep it varied. Rhodes is stopped there. It'll be 3rd down and 13 for Dungy's Colts.
Tony Dungy is thinking that that Barry Cofield is getting penetration there, and he's wondering what's happening there, because we said the thing that will foul up the run is the penetration. And you see Cofield got it again, and then he makes the back cut back right into the flow.
Aaron Moorhead, 85, becomes the 3rd wide receiver. He's wide left. That puts Wayne in the slot where he does not normally operate from in the absence of Stokely. And Manning is under pressure, but escapes, then throws underneath. It's caught by Rhodes, and Rhodes will take it for a first down to the 20-yard line. So Dominique Rhodes, the safety valve on the checkoff, makes the catch and then picks up about 7 or 8 yards after the catch to get the first down.
And you're going to see Strahan here is going to go right by Ryan Deem, but Peyton Manning is so aware. He knows that he has to get back, he has to set, and then once in a while he's going to have to make a move to get away from that rush. When he does, that buys him a little time, and he finds Dominique Rhodes, and then Rhodes makes a pretty good run to get that first down.
Now the debut for Joseph Adai, number 29. He's in the backfield. He's the rookie, number 1 draft choice out of LSU, and they give him action right away. So their number 1 pick around the corner, and that's a nice gain on his first NFL play, 9 yards, knocked out by Jabril Wilson, the safety.
Yeah, this is one of the things I thought had to happen if the Giants were going to be successful. They had to stop this first drive, because the Colts always come up with this up-tempo thing, and I know that you practice and and you're ready for it. You know they're going to do it, but it always seems to catch the defense off balance.
2nd down and a short 2. Indianapolis already with 4 first downs on this drive, and 2nd and short here.
Adai finished off that run pretty well, didn't he?
Very nicely. He's going to see about 40% of the action tonight, but now he gets his welcome to the NFL as Michael Strahan knocks him down to knock that what would have been that 8-yard average had he retired after the first run down to about 2.5.
All right, we were talking about Barry Cofield and getting the penetration, against the run. At that time, it was Strahan. He's really off to a pretty good start in this. I mean, he's getting a pretty good pass rush, and that time he got the penetration and stopped the run.
Giant defense already breathing hard. They've been on the field for 7 minutes. 3rd down and 5. Opening drive of the game. Manning out of the gun, seeking a 5th Indianapolis first down. And the catch is made by the rookie Adai for a first down. He gets inside the 10. It'll be first down and goal for the Colts.
If Peyton Manning was anxious, he sure isn't showing it in his play. I mean, he's doing all the things the guy has to do. He's trusting his pass protection. That he knows he's going to get pressure from those defensive ends, but he just kind of lets it happen and steps up and steps around it, and finds a hole to throw the ball in.
This is already the 14th play of the drive.
And because of the no huddle, that keeps the substitutions off the field.
First and goal from the 9-yard line. They run the stretch play. Dominique Rhodes doesn't find very much room to the outside. They knock him down at the 8. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
You know, that's one of the things that the Colts this year without Edgerrin James really have to establish that they can run the ball, because they have to make you stop the run, and then they can go to the play action pass, and their whole package is based, it's based on Peyton Manning throwing the ball, but it starts with the run and the fake of the run.
We saw Fred Robbins on the bench. He limped off. William Joseph comes in for him. Second down and goal. Manning looking right, then left, and that pass is incomplete. It was Wayne coming across over the middle, and the pass thrown a little bit behind them. So again, a third down play, third and goal. Last year, in half their games, the Colts were able to get it into the end zone. Best percentage in the league. Right now, they are 4 for 4 on third down on this drive.
You know, it really takes a toll on the defense. There's no huddle, the silent count. You know, again, they know what you're doing, but boy, you can see it taking a toll on the Giant defense the first drive.
Manning stepping up, throwing, no, it was almost intercepted. That was James Butler who should have had it. And what an ending that would have been to the drive. At least the Colts will have a field goal attempt here. But Butler, the second-year safety out of Georgia Tech, had an interception and just dropped it.
Yeah, and Peyton Manning has everything going, and you see that they just sit back there in a zone. Butler was just the safety. He was just waiting. Peyton Manning, when he went to move a little, he put his eyes down, and then when he looked up, there was James Butler.
They picked up Adam Vinatieri, the great New England kicker, in the offseason. He has sprained ligaments in his non-kicking foot, but he plays tonight and boots it through. 3-0 into the Indianapolis offense to the Giants defense. Almost 9 minutes. The 17th play was Vinatieri's 26-yard field goal. Now Adam will kick off, and the Giants will get the ball for the first time. Taken at the goal line, Chad Morton, who runs back, kicks and punts, and he gets walloped at the 15-yard line. Taken down there by Marlon Jackson, and that's where Eli Manning will take over with 6:02 to play in the quarter. Here comes the other brother. 3-0 Colts. Next week we go to Texas. We'll be at Irving, Texas, Washington, and Dallas. It's the Redskins and the Cowboys. Redskins will play tomorrow night. Dallas losing to Jacksonville today. Gibbs, Parcells, and the whole gang. And there's our gang. Football Night in America. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, next Sunday night. Now, Eli Manning from the 15-yard line. He will start by giving the ball to Tiki Barber, coming off a tremendous year. Picks up 6. Let's check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, Al, as you were talking before, the Giant defense is definitely winning. We could see LeVar Arrington getting some oxygen on the sidelines. Now, as for Fred Robbins, he did limp off the field. He has a quad strain. They massaged it. They wrapped it. I saw him on the bike behind the Giants bench, and he's questionable for his return.
Keep an eye on him. A 17-play drive, second down and 4. Go to Barber again, and Tiki picks right up in 06, where he left off in 05. Jim Finn, the fullback, leading the way. And few guys have had the kind of year. In fact, John, last year he became the first guy in history to rush for 1,800 yards and catch passes for 500 or more yards.
You know, and you look at Tiki Barber and think that he's a smaller running back, therefore he's just going to run outside, catch passes and those kinds of things. He is a very good inside runner and a very good cutback runner, as we just saw in that last play.
He averaged 5.2 yards per carry. They're going to run the end around here, and this is Chad Morton, who's the run back specialist, to the 50-yard line. Plexico Burris, the wideout, through the key block to Spring Morton, and the Giants have it at midfield after that gain by Morton.
Yeah, that's a good tempo changer. Anytime you want to change the tempo, you run your trick plays early in the season. They're very effective, and when you can get your kick returner, Al, as you say, in there, get him as a wide receiver, let him run a reverse. That can be a big play for you. Talking about big plays, look at the block by number 17, Plexico Burris.
That's Morton's first carry since the 2003 season. It's good for 22 yards. The ball's at the 49. Back they go more conventionally now. Tiki Barber gains 9 to the 42-yard line. Let's take a look at the Giant offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Tiki Barber, University of Virginia.
Jim Finn, University of Pennsylvania. Plexico Burris, Michigan State.
Amani Toomer, University of Michigan.
Jeremy Shockey, University of Miami.
Luke Pettigrew, Notre Dame.
Dave Deal, University of Chief Illinois.
John O'Hara, Rutgers.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Ray McKenzie, Penn State.
Chris Snee is the son-in-law of Coach Tom Coughlin. The ball is at the 42-yard line. It's 2nd down and 1. Manning rolling, throwing, caught. Burris outside. The ex-Steeler. Short gain, but enough for a first down to the 39-yard line. Hit first by Nick Harper. Here's the NDD.
Robert Mathis, Alabama A&M.
Monte Rager, Texas Tech.
Raheem Brock, Temple.
Dwight Freeney, Syracuse University.
Gilbert Gardner, Purdue.
Gary Brackett, Rutgers.
Cato June, Michigan.
Nick Harper, Fort Valley State.
Bob Sanders, Iowa.
Antoine Bethea, Howard University.
Jason David, Charter Oak High School.
Antoine Bethea starting for Mike Doss, who's been hurt in training camp. Bethea making the most of his opportunity, a 6th-round draft choice out of Howard. And you get the first flag of the game. There's no play here. Whistle before the snap. Jeremy Shockey jumping, and our first penalty of the game.
Yeah, it looked like it was Josh Thomas on defense, but it wasn't. Shockey moved first.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Walt Anderson making his first call of the night. So these teams look like they're in the middle of the season. We went 12 minutes and 16 seconds without a flag. And you know it's not preseason now.
Right, and what was that signal that Shockey just gave? I think that's a bunch of baloney. I didn't do anything. Look at him, he is upset. Eli Manning was telling us the other day that he likes to get Jeremy Shockey involved in the game early. He likes to get him the ball early because it's not only good for him, but it brings a crowd into the game.
He and Burris both, and Burris has already made his first catch, and this is Tiki Barber, who is stopped by number 98, Robert Mathis, just inside the 40-yard line.
You know, one of the things Tiki Barber was talking about and the Giants are doing here early is run the ball right at them. You know, when you look at the Colt defense, they're a smaller defense with great speed. And the worst thing you can do is try and get outside and try and sweep and do those types of things. The best thing you can do is just take your power and power the ball right at them. Of course, when you get a penalty, then that makes it more difficult because that puts you in this situation, and the Giants are in an empty backfield, spread it out.
Empty backfield with 5 receivers. Manning, quick drop, and then the catch is made by Michael Jennings, one of the big stories in training camp. Flashy kid. Drives a hot car, the whole thing with all of the bling. And Michael Jennings, first-year player out of Florida State, sees action immediately here.
You know, anytime we see this where they spread them out, 3 receivers on one side, 2 receivers on the other side, you know, one thing, you have 5 guys out, so protection could be a problem. Therefore, the quarterback is going to get rid of the ball quickly. Eli Manning looks pretty poised, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks calm and no big deal to him. No big deal to old Eli.
3rd down and 5. Stepping up. Looking poised here. And then all of a sudden, not particularly poised, as Tim Carter was in a lot of traffic, and Eli tried to jam it in there. Monte Rager in the middle of the action, saying, oh, man, I should have had it.
Right, and that's the thing that Eli is trying to get away from this year is jamming it. You know, not doing something, not forcing something. Here he buys a little time, makes a little move, and that is a jam. I mean, there's a fine line between confidence and being able to get a ball in there and jamming. That time, I think he jammed.
Now you're in a position you can either go for a 50-yard field goal, go for it here on 4th down and 5, or just line up and hope that you can draw the other team offside. Colts have been here before them, but let's see what the Giants do. The ball at the 33-yard line. It's a 4th and 5, and they will run the play. And Eli will throw it, and that is incomplete. And the crowd, of course, all in full throat, 70,000 plus want a flag. They don't get it. Nick Harper all over Plexico Burris, but legally. They turn it over. Back. Wolverines ranked number 11. That's on NBC next Saturday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Notre Dame and Michigan. Now Peyton Manning, Colts have the ball for the second time from the 34-yard line. They'll start with a play fake, buying time for Manning. In the pocket, going deep over the middle, and the pass incomplete. Secondary does its job. Webster covering Harrison.
You know, when Tom Coughlin went for it on fourth down there, Al, I think he was thinking that we're going to get in a shootout tonight, and it's not going to be one of those tight run the ball, play defense. We're going to have to score some points, to match the Colts. So therefore, you have to make those kinds of moves.
Tom Coughlin wearing the fire department FDNY cap. Thinking about the anniversary tomorrow of the attacks of 9/11. Second down and 10. The ball is at the 34-yard line. And this is Dominique Rhodes going next to nowhere. The Colts took the opening kickoff, went down the field, and that's their longest opening drive since back in 1992. They had a 19-play drive. This was 17 and ended with a field goal. And the Colts were actually lucky at the end because the Giants should have had a pick by James Butler.
Tony Dungy was telling us last night that it'll be in the middle of the second quarter before they figure out exactly what the Giants' defensive plan is against them. He said the first quarter and a half will be mostly sparring.
Third down and 8. Manning under pressure and somehow just threads it in to Dallas Clark. What a perfect pass over the middle. LeVar Arrington was right there in Manning's face, jammed it in there, and that's the way the first quarter will end. So the Colts moving again. Manning has thrown for 71 yards. We've played 3-0 Indianapolis. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. As much as the Giants has completed 6 passes to 6 different receivers. There are the numbers through the first quarter. Mr. Taylor is here, LT. On the Giants sideline, 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Joseph Adai is the running back, the LSU rookie. And after a little chip block, he takes the pass from Manning and picks up the first down, tackled by the middle linebacker Antonio Pierce.
We were talking about the Colts and missing Edgerrin James, and a big part of what Edgerrin James did was catch passes and pass protect, and they think that Joe Adai is going to be able to do that he's going to be kind of the pass receiver. And Tom Moore was saying last night that he's their best pass protector of the running backs.
And he becomes the 2nd different Colt to catch a pass. And Manning with 7 completions to 7 different guys in the first 15 and a half minutes of the game.
There's a silent count.
Giants nearly jump, and then it is Marvin Harrison. And of course, Manning and Harrison together have combined for more catches, more touchdowns, more receiving yards than any tandem in history.
You're talking about the silent count, and you're going to see Peyton will pat Jeff Saturday on the left side of his hip, and then after he does that, they get off on Saturday raising his head. So it's not the tap, but it's after that when Saturday raises his head. That's the snap count right there. 2nd
and 10 after the incompletion. And Manning will throw that one out of the range of Harrison. And it will be 3rd down and 10.
Tom Moore gets the play call in right now to Peyton Manning, and this is how he does it. He gives him a formation because they have to know how to line up. He gives them 2 running plays, and then he gives them 1 pass play, and in the pass play is a protection call.
Tom Moore has been an offensive coordinator with the Colts now longer than any offensive coordinator with his current team. He inherited Peyton Manning, who was a pretty good guy to come aboard with. Manning flushed out. Throws on the run, and right down the sideline there is Harrison. Just when you think you have him, just when you think he has no chance, Jabril Wilson with the blitz that time. Manning, as he gets to the sideline, throws it right down the sideline to number 88 for 20 yards.
And you think that Peyton Manning can't run. He's going to feel pressure back here, and he's saying, I got to get out of town. So he darn near, that's a Peyton Manning sprint out there. He sprints out to that side and finds Marvin Harrison. That is a big play. I mean, that is being aware. He feels that backside pressure and gets out of there, and in doing so, he's able to find Marvin Harrison down the field.
Those two have combined for 94 touchdowns. Strahan comes across the line, and he said, ain't me. He's right.
Ball start, number 86, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Ben Utek.
You know what the Colts do? They're playing a lot of 2 tight ends. Ben Utek is the 2nd tight end. with Dallas Clark, he has a versatility where he can either be a slot guy or he can be that second tight end. He's lined up here now, but they move him all over.
You have UTEP lined up in the backfield as the fullback, and then they hand the ball off to Rhodes, and he goes nowhere, so it'll be 3rd down and goal. Make it 2nd down and goal at the 15-yard line.
You know, Brandon Stokely is their normal 3 wide receiver, so they'll go 3 wide receivers, put Stokely in the slot, and they like him. Stokely is out of this game, so what they can do instead of going 3 wide receivers, I think to get their best personnel in there, is just stay 2 tight ends, and instead of Stokely in the slot, you put Dallas Clark in the slot. This time they have Reggie Wayne in the slot. They have Marvin Harrison in the slot, as a matter of fact.
And they've got Wayne going in motion, and on 2nd and 15, that ball is tipped, and it is incomplete. Dallas Clark was the intended receiver. 3rd down and goal.
You know, the Colts trying to catch him in something the Giants didn't expect because, well, no, that he always lines up on the right side. Marvin Harrison does, and that time he was not only on the left side, but he was in slot. Both receivers on the same side, and you'll see that about 10 times all season. Marvin Harrison lined up over on this side, which he is right now.
Harrison wide left, Wayne in the slot to the left, and Aaron Moorhead taking Stokely's place as the number 3 wideout. Wide right. Play clock is down to 3. Manning out of the gun. 3rd down and goal. To the right side and throws it behind Moorhead. And I guarantee it's Moorhead who blew the pattern. Corey Webster was there for the near pick.
And the Giants have dropped 2 of those picks tonight. Watch here, he had his better players over here in the left side. I think they kind of outsmarted themselves on that. You know, I mean, get our 2 good receivers over in the left and throw the Moorhead over in the right, and that didn't work. I don't know that they have to do that against this defense.
Moorhead going down the field, Manning throwing to the outside. Vinatieri, 33-yard attempt against strained ligaments in his left foot. In fact, his mother told the paper that he might have had a broken bone in his foot. That created an issue in Indianapolis, but he's healthy and he's the difference in the game right now. Sickling, Manhattan, crew from the flyover has made its way to Giants Stadium. The former Mayor Giuliani, who was part of the pregame ceremony, is here as well. And the Colts leading 6-0 kickoff, and Vinatieri with another good kickoff, a yard into the end zone. Chad Morton back out to the 20-yard line. Giants have it there. Eli goes to work. Peyton does some studying. 6-0 Colts. Looking on. We were talking to Tiki Barber yesterday. He said they're like the Kennedy family of the NFL.
Yeah, and you knew exactly what he meant, didn't you?
Yep. This is Brandon Jacobs, who's the big bull out of the backfield with Barber starting this series on the bench, and you've got a flag thrown at the 39-yard line. I think Burris with a hold. So Jacobs broke one. He is 6'4" and 264 and the short yardage guy, but he will spell Barber from time to time, and most of this one's going to come back.
During the run, illegal block in the back, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's still 1st down.
Burris.
Yeah, as you say, this Brandon Jacobs is a heck of a move here when you put him in. I mean, he's so big and strong that the tacklers just fall off him. 264 pounds running down the sideline like that. He looks like a tackle. There's the illegal block right there. Plexico Burris from the back. But that Brandon Jacobs, I think, you know, he's going to be a good change of pace. And that's what Tiki Barber was talking about. He said that Brandon Jacobs being able to take a series like this is really going to help him.
From the spot of the foul, that's his 1st and 9, and then Jacobs drops it. So Jacobs would have had a 25-yard run. Instead, the penalty moving him back, and it's 2nd down and 9 now.
Look at the size of that guy, though. I saw him in practice yesterday, and he walked through the offensive line. And as he walked through the offensive line, he looked like one of them. I thought he was a guard.
Well, can you imagine the backup to Manning is Jared Lorenzen, who is 6'4", 285, a quarterback. You've got him and Jacobs in the same backfield at some point. Here's Barber back in the game now. 2nd down and 9. Carter in the game is the third wideout. He operated out of the slot. Tiki Barber at the age of 31, tackled by Monte Rager. Tiki Barber now in his 10th year out of Virginia. When you think back to when he was drafted, everybody said, okay, good third down back. He'll, do a little running on first and second down. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a guy who may wind up in Canton.
Well, he's a very powerful guy. And, he'll run inside. And what he does is when a tackler comes up, he picks the shoulder. Instead of trying to run through a defender, he picks the shoulder and runs through a shoulder.
3rd and 8. Eli will take this one out of the shotgun. Stepping up over the middle. It's Barber up to the 35-yard line. And that is nothing new. Tiki last year over 500 yards in receiving, and they went to him 54 times. Players with 40% of their team's scrimmage yards in one season. Look at this list. In more than one would be Jim Brown, who did it in 63 and 65. ED did it in 84 and 86. These are guys who've done it more than once. And Barber, 04 and 05. From the 35-yard line, Barber to the outside. Tiki may do it again this year, but a flag comes in at the end of the play for the moment of first down.
I love that when a running back gets to the sidelines and cuts back in. It seems like there's so many of them now get to the sidelines and just run out of bounds.
Personal foul, crackback, number 17, offense. 15-yard penalty on the spot of the foul. It's still first down.
That's another foul on Burris.
Isn't that the third one that he's had blocking?
It certainly is. Second on this drive.
As a coach, you fight all your life to get your wide receivers to block. And here, he blocked at the knees. And you can crack back. You can come in and block, but you can't block below the waist when you come in on that crack.
Cracked on Bob Sanders, and of course that's Coughlin's reaction after looking up at the board and seeing the same replay you just saw.
Yeah, they used to be able to do that. You used to be able to crack back and you could come in and clip them. And then they put in a rule that you can crack back, you can come in and block them from the outside in, but you can't block them below the waist.
Now you've got Jacobs back in the game on 1st and 22. So the Giants trying to get out of their own tracks. 10-10 to go in the half. 6-0 Colts. Jacobs plows his way to the 34-yard line.
You know who Jacobs reminds me a little of there is Jerome Bettis. A big guy that looks like a fullback or looks like a guard we were just talking about, but has the feet of a tailback. Watch his feet here. His feet are not the feet of a 264-pound guy. Usually a 264-pound guy is heavy-legged with cankles.
Went right through Bob Sanders on his way to that gain of 11. Ball at the 34-yard line on 2nd down and 11. You got Barber coming this way. And he gets it up to the 37-yard line. Gardner and June make the tackle. And if Tiki looks a little different to you, if you don't watch that many Giant games, but it's just the way he carries the ball. He used to be a fumbler. He fumbled as much as anybody in the league, and now all of a sudden he doesn't fumble at all. He went from a lot to almost never just by the way he carries the football.
Yeah, when Tom Coughlin came in here, that was the first thing he did is he changed Tiki's way he carried the ball, and he had to bring his elbow in and his hand and the ball up right under his chin, and when he gets tackled, put the other wrist and cover the wrist with your hand is what I'm trying to say.
3rd and 8, and then Burris is able to tip it to himself, and he has it at the 26-yard line before Sanders makes the tackle. So Burris, the GOAT of this series with those 2 fouls, makes a great play here, tipping it to himself.
He kind of felt that he had to make that play here. You see, when that's the old deal, when he's even, he's leaving. He got even, raised his hand, and he knew that if Eli can get the ball out there to him, that he has his guy beat. As you said, tipped it up with one hand, with his right hand, and then stayed after it and brought both hands on it.
Burris 6'5", 232. Sanders 5'8", 206. It's Indianapolis with the small DBs, but the fast DBs. And Manning throws, and that is incomplete. Jeremy Shockey going up in the air. Couldn't hold on. 2nd down.
You know, it's interesting when we were talking to Eli, he said that, you know, the three guys he has to get started. One is Tiki. Well, you know that's going to happen anyway, just the way they call the plays, the runs. And he said the other guy, of course, is Plexico Burris, who he did, and then Jeremy Shockey. And he really hasn't gotten Jeremy Shockey involved in the passing game yet until right there.
Shockey out on this play, 2nd down and 10. Freeney's been pretty quiet tonight, one of the better rushers in the league. Manning gets rid of it in a hurry and too low, intended for Amani Toomer. So Manning right now, he's 4 for 9, so he's 44%, and that's what he's going to have to improve on, among other things, is that completion percentage. Last year, only 52%. The league average just a tick under 60.
One thing that I do like about the Giants and their pass offense is they have good receivers and they throw the ball downfield. I mean, you could throw a lot more screens. You could throw that, that just get up and throw it to the outside receiver. Those kinds of things. They don't do a lot of that.
3 wideouts against the nickel, and the pass is caught at the 22-yard line by Toomer. But that'll set up a 4th down and a field goal attempt here. Nick Harper making the catch. So Coughlin will send in Jay Feely in the group and try to cut the lead in half.
Yeah, I just said they don't do a lot of it, and then they went and they did it. You're talking about Freeney not being there. That time Tiki Barber blocked him, although he looked like he was getting ready to drop off on a screen.
40-yard attempt for Jay Feely. Jeff Fiegels to hold, and that kick is no good. Wide to the left. So the team's moving up and down the field, but only 6. The first one resulted in a field goal, and they were lucky to get that after the near pick. The other one resulting in a field goal. Now Manning taking over again here, and they start with a screen, and smelling that perfectly is Fred Robbins. Remember, he was gassed before and a little shaken up and came out of the game, but he's back in and makes his presence known.
I think these 2 tackles are doing a good job for the Giants, both Robbins and Cofield. We saw Cofield get penetration, and play well against the run. That time Robbins, we know he got the pressure up the middle. When those ends come from the outside, you have to get a push in the middle. And Robbins came out and made the play on the screen on that one.
2nd down and 13. Colts running their 28th play of the half. The Giants have won 20. Arrington puts the heat on. Manning gets it away, and that's Ben Utek, the tight end, the 2nd tight end, making the catch.
Yeah, and he had to get the ball away quickly on that one, Al, because as you said, LeVar Arrington was coming free. LeVar Arrington is going to come free from this side. Peyton Manning is so aware of where everyone is. He looked and he saw him and then knew he had to get rid of that. You don't get many blind shots on Peyton Manning.
Adai and Rhodes, the 2 backs come in together. Arrington comes out of the game. 3rd down and 5 here. 4-man Giant line. Manning out of the shotgun. Giants rush 4. Manning steps up, feels the pressure, and over the middle winds up hitting Marvin Harrison. How many times do you see that? It doesn't matter who they are. It could be Umanura and Strahan, and they come in, and Peyton feels it, and he steps up, and there's Marvin over the middle.
That's what he does. I mean, he's going to take that drop, and then he's going to step, and when he feels that pressure coming from the outside, right there, steps up, but when he steps up, he's keeping his eyes up the field, and he's always looking for Marvin Harrison or either of his receivers, but he doesn't look at the rush. He doesn't look at those outside guys. He looks up the field.
3 catches now for Harrison. Ball at the 49-yard line. The fake to Adai. That buys time. Manning deep over the middle, and winding up open over the middle is Reggie Wayne this time. That's Sam Madison, the longtime Dolphin, now with the Giants, who chases him down. But Wayne gets inside and makes the catch for a long gain.
And we're seeing more and more of this, where you use your play action pass as a pass protection. So it's almost maximum pass protection, and then with that, you try and throw deep. Reggie Wayne comes from the left, runs a post pattern, and there's no safety in the middle, so Peyton Manning will complete that 100% of the time.
And that was a 34-yard gain. The ball is at the 17-yard line, and that is almost intercepted. Antonio Pierce jumping it and almost has a pick. So the Giants nearly have another, but they don't have any in the game.
The Giants have, what, 3 or 4 of those almost and nothing?
2 for sure.
You're going to see Pierce right here, and you see he just looks all the way, and when Peyton turns that way, he just jumped it. Watch him. He jumps right there, and he's going right for the ball. Go for the man. He knew exactly where that was going, and he got a great jump on it, a great line on it. Just didn't come up with it.
4:24 to go in the opening half. 2nd down and 10. A dive. Thrust out of bounds at the 16-yard line. If you're just tuning in and saying, 6-0, all defense. Not really. I mean, the Colts with 174 yards, the Giants with 140. It has more of like a 17-14 feel.
Right, it does, because they get down there and they just can't get it in. And then the last time the Giants were there, they got in field goal range and then missed the field goal.
Colts 7 out of 9 on 3rd down tonight. Last year at 49%. That was the best in the NFL at converting. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 10-yard line. Peyton's going to get the first down, and he's going to have a 1st and goal at the 2 as Reggie Wayne collects it. Arrington and Demps converge on the tackle. And Reggie is shaken.
You know, we talk about Brandon Stokely and usually being in these situations where he would be the slot guy. Peyton likes to work that slot.
Injury timeout. 1st and goal when we're back. Goal attempt. It'll be tough. 1st down and goal. Wayne went off under his own power, but he comes out of the game. They're already minus Stokely. They work on Reggie now. Tight formation. They've got Darrell Reed, the defensive tackle, lined up as the fullback, and Adai is the tailback. They fake it to Adai, and Manning's going to throw over the middle, and that is incomplete, and that is dropped there by Charlie Johnson, the offensive lineman, who is an eligible receiver in this short set, lining up as a tight end.
You know, that's one of the things that you always say, yeah, we do have a pass to Charlie Johnson when he comes in at tight end, but we never throw it to him. And then lo and behold, he runs that end line. They throw it to him, and he looks like a tackle.
Yes, he does.
And that's why he's playing tackle. And he's probably never been an end in his life because of that.
Played a little bit on the outside of Oklahoma State. Couldn't handle that one. Here is Adai. And Adai can just barely get inside the 2. That's Carlos Emmons making the tackle. And a big play for the Giant defense here to try to limit them to a 3-point attempt.
Yeah, and that's one thing, you know, that the Colts, as well as they pass and as well as they keep you off balance, they have not proven yet since they lost Edgerrin James that they can run the ball. So if you don't really think you can run it, then sometimes you have to on 1st down go play action pass and stuff like that on the goal line.
Well, 11 carries tonight combined for 22 yards. That's not going to do it.
Not good.
No, 3rd down and goal. They offset Reed. Adai is the running back. They fake it to him. Manning's going to roll under pressure. Throws, caught. Clark, touchdown. And you had Strahan back in coverage that time with Clark going to the outside. So you got the defensive end covering the tight end, and it's the first touchdown of the game.
See, they don't know what to do. I mean, you watch Peyton Manning's parents. They both just sit there, but watch this here. You see, he starts to block. Dallas Clark starts to block, so Michael Strahan is going to stay with him, and then Clark just runs to the outside. Once Peyton Manning sees him out there, he just gives him the ball on the sideline. He's pretty good. You don't have you raise your hand. Peyton Manning will find you.
Yes.
Being able to catch that ball and keep both feet in.
Vinatieri for the point after with 2:25 remaining in the opening half. So Peyton finally gets the Colts into the end zone. 13-0 Indianapolis. And all of the rest from our Rockefeller Center studios. Football night in America at 7 o'clock every Sunday night. Vinatieri's kick fielded 6-yard line. Shad Morton. And swing all the way across the field, and that is a great play. And that's Reed, who was lining up as the fullback. Darrell Reed coming across, going through the phalanx of blockers, making the tackle after the Clark touchdown makes it 13-0. Tiki Barber starts this drive on 1st down up to the 31-yard line. So a 5-year difference between the boys. When that video was shot, Peyton 3 and Eli still 2 years away from being born. as we get to the 2-minute warning. And Jerome Bettis, that's our all-star crew, waiting across the river. Scores and highlights from week 1 coming up. Toyota halftime show. Get you up to date on everything. Here, 2 minutes to go. First half. Eli Manning and the Giants down 13-0. They give it to Tiki Barber, and Barber is going to get a first down up to the 42-yard line. The Giants have all of their timeouts. As the clock ticks down to 1:48, Marlon Jackson makes the tackle, first down to the 42.
You know, you feel the Giants just have to not stop themselves because this Colt defense really hasn't stopped them.
Eli 6 out of 11, and that's Burris trying to tip it to himself again. And incomplete, second down.
I mean, that's where, you know, Eli and Peyton are really different. I mean, Peyton is so accurate, and Eli doesn't have that part of Peyton.
Talking before about 52% last season. Tonight he's at 50, 6 out of 12. His brother is 14 out of 24. Second down and 10. Inside give, and that's Barber again. And John Tiki looks just the way he did at the end of last season. But he's a little shaken here, bent over him, and timeout is taken by the Giants. It's a good timeout to take in terms of strategy and gives Barber a moment. We go to Bob Costas.
All right, Al, coming up at halftime, highlights of all 12 games played around the National Football League today and thoughts on this one.
Well, you know, it just looks like Peyton Manning is one of those guys. He's not fast, but his escapes really have been the difference in this first half.
Well, I like the running games from both football teams, but somebody is going to have to step up and make a play for the New York Giants.
Eli has to settle down a little bit. He's throwing the ball a little high. He's got to find those guys and make some plays.
Highlights from all 12 games at halftime. Right now, back to the biggest brother battle since Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez read for the same part in Hot Shots 2. Al?
And who won that one? Peyton's winning this one to this point with 166 yards, almost double Eli's total. First and 10 now after the first timeout. And that catch is made for a short gain by Amani Toomer. Tackled there by Marlon Jackson. Toomer being held for the moment. Barber comes back into the game now. Flanking Manning in the shotgun. Second down and 4. Eli's going to dump it off. Tiki's going to take it for a first down. He's going to get to the 34-yard line. He's stopped there by Jason David. 1 minute to play in the half. 2 Giant timeouts remaining at the 34-yard line.
Somewhere you'd think that he would be thinking of getting the ball to Jeremy Shockey on this drive.
Instead, they go to Barber again, and he gets dragged down in the backfield by Gary Brackett.
And now they got to take the timeout.
Take a timeout.
I think they still have one left, but by having 2 left, they could afford to try and pop a run there. And that's what Tom Coughlin had to think, that, you know, save that timeout, try and pop a run. If that doesn't work, I'll take the timeout.
Colts have had 3 long drives. Their first drive was 17 plays. Peyton Manning, you can see his numbers. It resulted in a field goal. Their rushing offense averaging just 2 yards per run. Eli Manning, there are his numbers thus far. Tiki Barber's carried 10 times and averaging better than 5 yards per carry, just like last year. Second down and 10. The ball is at the 34-yard line. Eli going deep. Tipped by Burris, back to himself for the touchdown. He does it again. And when you've got a guy that big at 6'5", and you got the small corners at 5'10", that's a 7-inch advantage. So it's a jump ball, and Burris wins it to get the Giants right back in the game, 34 yards.
You know, that's Nick Harper on the defensive side of the jump ball. And as you say, Plexico Burris is always going to win that jump ball. That's what the Giants needed. You know, they needed something that would get that score, break that thing, get that first score, then they can go on, because they have been moving the ball against this defense.
Feely for the point after, and he had just missed a 40-yard attempt wide to the left. And that one, he almost missed as well. But the extra point is good. A half a minute to go. Indy leading now 13-7.
Just look at Burris there in the sideline. Here you're going to see him right here. Here's Nick Harper, the defender, right there in a tight coverage. Harper starts to run off. Burris again gets even with him, and then when Eli Manning looks out there and sees that he has one-on-one, he knows that if he can just get that ball up in the air, his guy, Plexico Burris, will get it.
John, we barely had time to talk about these teams as a whole. The pace has been so fast here. Give me your thoughts about the Indianapolis Colts. They keep coming so close. It's not good enough to get to the playoffs anymore. They've got to get to the Super Bowl for the expectations to be lived up to at this point.
Yeah, that's that old thing about, the window and how long is their window going to stay open. And I think, Peyton Manning in his 9th year, that if they're going to get to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, it better be in the next couple of years.
They have most of their guys back. The one big missing ingredient, of course, is Edgerrin James. They just couldn't afford to keep him, and he winds up with Arizona. They won today against San Francisco. Terrence Wilkins will run the kickback. And Wilkins, who's worked his way back to the Colts, was with them a few years ago, then went to Canada, out toward midfield. The Giants have had 3 great interception opportunities. This first one at the end of the first drive, James Butler just dropped it. Then this on a pass thrown to the outside. Corey Webster couldn't handle it. There was Pierce. He couldn't grab that one. And thus Manning, instead of certainly 2 and maybe 3 picks, has none.
Yeah, you look at those and then you add the penalties that the Giants had, and they just kind of shot themselves in the foot, but they have hung in there, and it just could be down by 6 points. And the way, those missed interceptions, those penalties, the way they have gone, I think the Giants are really in pretty good shape.
Reggie Wayne is back in the game. He's at the bottom of the screen, wide left. Manning at least trying to get him into field goal range, and that's Marvin Harrison, who will step out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So 20 seconds. They have their timeouts. Not that they can use all 3 at this point, but Peyton just trying to get him at least deep enough for Vinatieri to come into the game.
Yeah, and I don't know that you have to give him that big a cushion. I mean, you need a pass rush, and the Giants are just rushing 3, and they're giving big cushions back there. It's only going to take them 2 more completions to be in field goal range.
From the 46-yard line. Over the middle. Now they're going to have to take a timeout here. That's Harrison. That'll stop the clock with 14 seconds. Andrea, you're down on the field. Swirling winds here normally, but not tonight. What do you think Vinatieri's range is?
Well, based on what he did in pregame, he was going to tell Tony Dungy that he had a range of the mid-50s going both directions, about a 53-yarder. So it could be within his range, Al.
So right now, if they don't gain a yard, he'd be kicking a 59-yard attempt. So Manning here probably looking for 12 to 15 yards, John?
Right. I would think to get that field goal range, I think you'd have to get inside the 30-yard line. So I would say that he needs another 10 or 12 yards. And the way the Giants are playing defense, or the 3-man line prevent, that's not going to be hard to get a 10 or 12-yard completion.
And they can work the whole field. They can work the middle of the field. There's no problem with 15 seconds. You still have a timeout to take. 2nd down and 5. From the 42-yard line. They rush 4 here. The pass is caught. They get it to the 32-yard line. That is Harrison. And that'll stop the clock now with 10 seconds. So you're at the point where Vinatieri, if you bring him in right here, it's a 49-yard field goal. You still have another timeout. So maybe Manning with one more play. That only took 5 seconds. You've got 10 ticks left, and Peyton will come back under center again.
Yeah, and I would take the one more shot, because you say you have the 10 seconds, but the Colts do have a timeout, so they can take the timeout immediately. And again, if you were inside that 30, where you knew you were in real field goal range, and it's not automatic. I learned that a long time ago, but where you think it is, then you could take a shot at the end zone here. I think with this case here, I think they have to try and get about 5 to 10 more yards.
Harrison wide right. They're going to put Clark in the slot to the left. Wayne splits left. Colts trying to make it at least a 9-point lead.
They can go right here.
It's Clark. He scored the Colts touchdown. Instead, they're going to give it to Rhodes. That's a kind of an odd call in this circumstance. They'll take a timeout, but you're to the point here. You still have, you're trying to really gain 10 yards, not 2.
Right, that is really odd. And if the Colts have proven anything in the first half is that they can't run. And if the Giants have proven anything on defense in the first half is that they can stop the run. And to take a timeout and run there, I'm not sure about that one unless they were worried that a pass would take too much time. And I just can't explain that one.
Yeah.
I mean, not when you have Peyton Manning. I think when you have Peyton Manning and you need another 10 yards or so, I think you just put the ball in his hands and tell Peyton go out and get us 10 more yards.
Colts averaging 1.9 yards per rush tonight. Now you've got Vinatieri. Again, that plant foot, the left foot, cost him almost all of preseason. Sprained ligaments, but tonight he's made 26 and 33-yard field goals. This is a 49-yard attempt for one of the great clutch kickers of all time, and it's right down Broadway. And we're about 8 miles from Broadway. Close enough. 16-7. Bob and the gang from 30 Rock coming up next on the Toyota halftime show. But time in history. How are the boys doing? Well, Eli with that touchdown pass at the end to Plexico Burress, actually with a higher rating than the older brother. Peyton 5 years older than Eli, so each guy has made his mark in the first half. 196 for Peyton through the air, so he's close to a 400-yard average, and 128 for Eli.
And you felt the Giants were jittery that first half, and maybe towards the end of the first half, and that touchdown pass to Plexico Burress not only gave him 7 points, but it may have calmed them down a little. And I think offensively they needed a little of that.
And they will get the ball with the Giants to start the third quarter. Chad Morton will run it back. Adam Vinatieri, not only a great field goal kicker, but a lot of touchbacks in his days in New England, sends this one down to the 1-yard line. Chad Morton gets clotheslined at about the 31-yard line. That's where we'll begin play. Reed makes the tackle. We'll take a look at the salient numbers. Indianapolis with no rushing game through the first half, and time of possession 17.5 to about 12.5 for New York.
If the Colts don't change that, they're going to have a tough time with their play action pass, and teams are just going to play them for pass. I mean, if I were playing the Colts right now, all my pass would be pass rush and pass defense. I would just play the run on the way to the pass.
Yeah, you need to be able to run to make the play fake work. That's a 7-yard gain for Tiki Barber. Let's get an update from Andrea.
Well, I had a chance to talk to both coaches, Alan. Tony Dungy said that they've managed to stay in manageable third down situations, which they're able to have 9 for 11 in terms of their conversions. Conversely, that's something that Tom Coughlin pointed out to me, is they have to improve. They have to get better coverage. They have to do better with their pressure packages. Coughlin was not happy at all with their defensive performances. And, of course, they have to keep Tiki Barber going.
Well, speaking of keeping Tiki Barber going, he's out to the 49-yard line. He's tackled there by Sanders. And Tiki Barber has now carried the ball 12 times for 72 yards, 6 yards per tote.
Did you see the play before that, Al? The Colts only had 10 guys in the field. And watch Raheem Brock is going to be coming in right here. He runs in from the field, goes in, and makes a tackle on the play from the sideline.
Maybe he was covering the slot receiver.
He started out covering the outside receiver and ended up in the backfield.
1st and 10. Tiki Barber across the 50 to the 48-yard line. That's a 3-yard gain. Gary Brackett makes the tackle.
And now we see Brandon Jacobs is coming in, and that's the thing that they can do now. I think what Tiki Barber is let him go and not, as Tom Coughlin says, he's a war horse, but he doesn't have to be a workhorse. I think that that is part of the thing. If Brandon Jacobs can hold up his end of the deal, then they can keep Tiki Barber fresh.
At 31 years old, better to be a war horse than a workhorse. 2nd and 7. Manning, and that is caught at the 40-yard line by Amani Toomer. A lot of people talk about Eli throwing off his back foot, but as Tom Coughlin says, in this league, you have to be able to throw off your back foot.
You know, and that's the thing that you have to do, but you have to have your feet pretty well set, especially if you're throwing the ball up the field. But here, Eli comes and he's backing up because he had to get away from the rush, and you can go right, left, or back up. Eli backed up, but was still able to get velocity on that ball.
Ball at the 39-yard line. Jacobs is the running back. Finn is the fullback.
I think Finn flopped, didn't he?
False start, number 20. Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's a good way to put it.
Finn is, you know, and that drives you crazy as a coach, and that's what the Giants have been doing. I don't think that this Colt defense has really been a problem. I mean, it's been a drop here, maybe a bad throw here, a penalty here and there, something like that. False start and end up in 1st and 15.
Finn is finished, at least for the moment. 1st and 15. Jacobs. And Jacobs is going to take a few people for rides. Right here, he takes Cato June, who's 6 feet 227, for about a 4-yard spin.
Brandon Jacobs is bigger than most of the defensive linemen, and definitely all the linebackers and defensive backs of the Colts. And anyone that's going to try and tackle him is going to go for a ride. He would be even better, though, if he got his pads down a little lower. And that was what Tom Coughlin was saying the other day, that that they've gotten that they're trying to get him, to get his pads down and get this power down. That time he was a little straight up, but still effective.
8-yard run. The last 4 with June on his back. 2nd down and 7. Empty the backfield. And you got a flag before the snap.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's the thing that the Giants have been doing, and that has to be driving Tom Coughlin crazy. I mean, they get a 1st down, and Finn moves, and then they take too much time. They don't get the ball off, and those are the kinds of things. Because, like I said, they've gotten this Colt defense, I think, figured out. I mean, they know what they can do, and they can be successful. They have good pass protection. They've been running well, and all you have to do is not foul yourself up.
2nd down and 12 now. 5 penalties assessed against the Giants. Barber on the screen. And Tiki, with that second effort, may have just netted the 1st down. He was spotted very close to the 29-yard line. And that will be a 1st down.
Yeah, we talk about Tiki and how he takes a shoulder, and he's going to run through a shoulder. But he has another thing going for him. He can get low, and he can get lower, and then he can get lowest. And he always has his power, because it's always the battle of the pads. Whoever has the lowest pads will win.
Jacobs, little change of pace now to the 24-yard line. Chris Snee is back in the locker room getting his knee x-rayed. Rich Seubert, it's his ankle. Seubert comes in, number 69, at Snee's spot.
And I was impressed with Chris Snee, just watching him on film. Him and the right side there, Kareem McKenzie. And then when you put Shockey on that side, Jeremy Shockey is a good blocker, and that gave him a good power side, the right side of their offensive line.
Shockey has not caught a pass tonight. Jacobs. Good looking drive by the Giants here, stopped by Monte Rager.
You can always do that against the Colts, especially when Dwight Freeney is rushing the passer, and you'll see more teams run this play, just a draw inside. Watch Dwight Freeney here. He just runs up the field, and once he does that, you get this thing going on the side. See, he'll just run himself right out of the play, and then you can take that ball up there and cut it to the outside, the area that he vacated.
Ball at the 18-yard line. The Giants are averaging 7.6 yards per rush tonight, as Tiki Barber will lower that a little bit. Barber's already carried 14 times now for 75 yards. Opening drive of the second half, much like the Colts in the first half, who had the ball for close to 9 minutes on their opening drive.
Yeah, the difference is the Colts do it with Peyton Manning and throwing the ball, and the Giants are very, very effective running the ball.
2nd and 9, ball at the 18-yard line. Barber in. And you get a false start.
False start, number 81, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Monty Toomer.
That stuff's just killing them. You would always say, well, receivers are moving, these types of things. That should never happen. I mean, a wide receiver should never be in motion. And you'd think, well, maybe they're on the road, the crowd noise and all that. They're playing at home. I mean, really, there are excuses for, mistakes or miscues or dumb things, but there's no argument for that. There's no way that you can say that there is an excuse for it.
Lack of concentration, 3rd penalty on this drive for the Giants. But the drive moving down the field as Shockey makes his first catch of the night. And comes up a little gimpy.
That was the thing that Eli was talking about yesterday. He said he likes to get Shockey involved in the game early, because when Shockey gets involved, the fans get involved. And you can just see it here. I mean, he catches a pass and the whole place goes crazy.
And that was the end of the play at that spot. He got up and went another 5 yards, but knee down at the 15-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 7 now. Big play. Halfway through the 3rd quarter, Indy still has not had the ball in this half. Eli stepping up, floats one, caught, touchdown, Shockey.
He got Shockey involved.
I'll say, got him involved, and Shockey looks gimpy, and you think maybe he'll come off for a play, and the next thing you know, he's in the end zone.
That is great. Shockey is a tight end. He's right here, and you see him. I mean, he's just so big and so strong. He's running a corner pattern. Eli sees him. He's able to step up and make that throw. And then watch what he does here. Gives the ball to the military and then hugs him. That is great. The NFL needs more of that.
Great scene as Feely, for the point after, will make it a 2-point game. They're hoping for. They'd like to see like a 59-59 tie. Giants down the field. Opening drive. 2nd half, 16-14.
Supposed to get my mouth around that.
We can help. Manning didn't have the ball much in the first quarter. 2 out of 4. Since then, he's putting up some nice numbers as Terrence Wilkins runs back the kick to the 28-yard line. So 7:04 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Eli Manning has hogged the ball here in the 3rd period. Eli then, Eli now, and Peyton will be coming into the game around on the bench, limping around on the field, but he caught the touchdown from Eli Manning to turn it into a 2-point game. Now Peyton and the Colts offense on the field for the first time in the half. Dominique Rhodes is the running back. We'll start with him. Still trying to establish some form of a running game. The ball is up to the 30-yard line. Colts key figures tonight. Numbers for Peyton Manning, 196 yards in the first half. No interceptions, but they could have been 3. Rhodes can't get the running game going along with the die, and Marvin Harrison, their leading receiver, was 6.
It's interesting. I was saying I would just play the Colts for pass, and the Giants are doing exactly that. On 1st and now on 2nd down, they've been in nickel defense, 5 defensive backs.
2nd down and 7. The ball is at the 30-yard line. Manning to the outside, and that's underthrown and incomplete. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver, and Sam Madison is there for the coverage. 3rd down and 7.
And that's put the Colts in situations that they really don't want to be in, because when you get a nickel defense, you say, well, we got to run them out of it. But when you can't run the ball, you got to really play into their hands. And I think that was a very, very good adjustment, or this is a very, very good adjustment by the Giant defense.
Crowd roaring. Colts, of course, have been going with a silent count the whole game. 3rd down and 7. Manning out of the gun. Chase on the run. Throws far side, incomplete. Good coverage, good pressure. Webster covering Harrison. 4th down, a quick 3 and out.
And like I said, it was a real good adjustment, and it was even a better adjustment because it worked. And if you can get a rush with those 4 guys and then play 5 defensive backs and make them throw into 7 guys, you have an advantage defensively.
First punt of the night for Hunter Smith. It's one of the cushiest jobs in America. Punter for Indianapolis. 18-yard line. Chad Morton hauls it in. And he'll bring it back out to the 27-yard line. Gilbert Gardner makes the tackle after that 52-yard boot. Coughlin during the course of a telecast, but not very much tonight, John.
No, and I think when you don't mention his name a lot, then you got to mention this guy, Luke Pettigrew, the guy that is blocking him and has been doing an excellent job on that side.
Giants good rushing game tonight. Passing game picking up as Plexico Burris makes the catch at the 30-yard line. He's tackled there by Jason David.
You know, I think on the other side, Kareem McKenzie's doing the same thing on Robert Mathis. I mean, those are the 2 big pass rushers for the Colts, and I think that both of the tackles have done a good job on the defensive ends of the Colts. Because Eli really hasn't been hit much tonight.
No, and he's catching up to Peyton in yardage. 177 for Eli, 196 for Big Brother. And despite Barber getting tripped in the backfield, he's still able to lunge forward and get up to the 37-yard line. How have the Giant key guys done thus far? Up-to-date numbers on Eli with the 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Burris, 1 to Shockey. Good ground game, and Jacobs has added to that as well in addition to what Barber has done. And there are Plexico's numbers. It's going to be 3rd and inches. Ray Rugemer, you heard him say 65 eligible. That's just because he's going to line up on the end of the line there. Rugemer. Brandon Jacobs is the running back.
Bob Sanders, the safety, is right up there in the line of scrimmage right here.
Ball start, number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
That's the 7th penalty against the Giants tonight, all on offense.
No, those are the things you work on all the time, you know, is getting off, everyone getting off in the count, you know, holding, not leaving before the ball snap, not moving. Those little things. When you talk about discipline and the disciplinarian that Tom Coughlin is, usually those things don't happen to his team.
So from 3rd and inches to a 3rd and 6, and they can empty the backfield. 5 receivers in the pattern.
He'll throw it quickly. 1, 2, 3, throw.
And it looked like it was tipped. Somebody got a hand on it, so it might have been Monte Rager, number 90. So the Giants with a chance to move down the field and maybe take the lead. Again, that 3rd and inches, and the false start kills them again.
Dwight Freeney usually plays on the right side, and this time they moved him over here on this side, and you see that he did his spinner right there. He wasn't the guy who tipped the ball, but he's kind of getting frustrated over on his side, so he thought he'd come over here and try McKenzie a while.
Jeff Fiegels in his 19th year. He was going to retire and move back to Arizona, and the Giants said, "You want to come back?" And his family said, "Yeah, let's move back to New Jersey." So Fiegels, who's punted more than anybody in history, at the 20-yard line, that is taken in by Terrence Wilkins, and he is tackled there. So Peyton and company back out onto the field. Late 3rd, Indy by a deuce.
You have to believe in yourself, and we're going against the perfect team. Just show what the New York Giants are all about.
Perfect team to show where you are, and it's a very big early season game for the Giants on a number of levels, because they go to Philadelphia next week, and then they go to Seattle the following week.
And they're not in the nickel defense on 1st down this time. They're in the base defense.
Manning's going to throw middle screen to Joseph Adai, the LSU rookie. And, you know, John, we've been talking about Edgerrin James, and it's one thing to say, as the Colts are, you know, hey, look, you know, we're going to miss him, but we got a couple of guys. It's going to be Dominique Rhodes. We're going to get, there's Rhodes, Joseph Adai. But, you know, you've always made the point, sometimes if you have two, you have none.
Yeah, you don't have any, because if you really had one, he'd be the guy. In other words, the Giants, you don't say, who's the Giants running back? You know who it is. It's Tiki Barber. You don't say, who's the running back for the San Diego Chargers? You know who it is.
Sure. O.C. Umenyiora. Hopefully for him, just a cramp. But I got that right eventually. I was thinking about O.C. Umenyiora. I wasn't thinking about Bradley Whitford at that point. Umenyiora with a little bit of a cramp. We hope a little bit of a cramp.
A little bit of a cramp is always the one the other guy has.
Right.
You had the worst cramp I ever had in my life.
Yeah. Well, it's like minor surgery. Minor surgery is surgery on somebody else. It's real simple.
Yeah, he just has a little cramp. Yeah, he has a little knee.
No problem. Matthias Kiwanuka was their first-round draft choice out of Boston College. So the Giants, very rich with defensive ends, and Ernie Accorsi believing in continuing to go to that well, as the catch is made here by Joseph Adai. So a lot of people were surprised with Strahan and Umenyiora with the flag down now in the backfield.
And it's right by Kiwanuka. I bet he was the guy that was being held too.
And that's only the second penalty of the night against Tony Dungy's Colts.
There's going to be Jake Scott in there, number 73, holding Fred Robbins, number 98. Kiwanuka couldn't have been held. He just ran right by Tarek Glenn.
Second down and 16.
Giants have a dime defense now, which is 6 defensive backs, just a 3-man pass rush.
And they send one extra. 7 back, and there is Manning over the middle, and he finds the open man, who more often than not is Marvin Harrison. LeVar Arrington was the extra rusher on that play, and right over the middle on Harrison for the first down.
You know, Marvin Harrison runs this deep in as well as anyone other than those Ram receivers, and you see, he just knows how to do it. I mean, he has a feel. He knows where that first down marker is. Just get up beyond the first down marker, come under control, find a hole for Peyton Manning to throw it in.
At the 32-yard line. Off the fake again. Over the middle again. And that one is picked off. The Giants finally get an interception. That's R.W. McQuarters. And out of bounds in Colts territory. Trying to get it to Clark, and the Giants, who've had 3 near picks tonight, finally get one. Back comes Eli. The Giants down by 2. Francisco, then Chicago for a number of seasons. Last year, Detroit, big play here with the pick.
Yeah, right. We were talking about their nickel and the dime defense, 6 defensive backs. Now, R.W. McQuarters can get on and play the slot, which is Dallas Clark. They have that Mike running deep, so it looks like right here it's darn near a double coverage. You have Antonio Pierce, the Mike running deep, McQuarters running man for man with Dallas Clark because of the 6 defensive backs.
Sniffed out very nicely by the Giants. Defensive coordinator Tim Lewis. Eli Manning's going to go deep for Burris, and he's going to throw that one out of bounds. Burris covered by Jason David with 1.5 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Eli was going for him right away. They were trying to get that jump ball over there again. That time the Colts had better position on it, or Burris didn't have as good a position. But this is the area on the field where you like to try that. First down is the down you like to try it.
2nd and 10. Fumble. Barber. And before he can gain control of it, the Colts come up with it. So we talked about Barber before and the fact he used to fumble constantly. And there's still a scrum, but the signal has already been made that it is Indianapolis's ball. So Barber never had it, and Robert Mathis comes away with it, number 98 at the 49-yard line.
And And the referee was in there in the scrum, too. I'm coughing and saying, what the heck is going on out there? Oh, yeah. He never got it to him.
Never got it. Yep.
He was doing a reverse handoff, and he goes the other way, and then he tries to reach him. By the time he's reaching out to hand it to him, Tiki Barber had passed him already.
And when the running back doesn't have control of it, the fumble gets charged to the quarterback.
As it should be.
Yep. Now Dominique Rhodes is the running back here. You see Pierce running up and down the line saying, come on, just hold him here. And now the pass is thrown to Ben Utek. The tight end, he takes it to the 46-yard line as the clock ticks down toward the end of the third quarter.
And Antonio Pierce is a real leader of this defense, as far as formations and making the calls and getting guys lined up, and he's really the quarterback of this defense.
Second down and 4 now. The ball is at the 45-yard line. Final minute of the period.
He's up there trying to jam the signals now. Call your signals in the middle of his signals.
Manning hit as he throws and out of bounds. Good coverage that time. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver, and Sam Madison, the long-time Dolphin, is back on the coverage. Update, Manning versus Manning. War of the Mannings. 223 for Peyton through the air. Quarterback rating, though, for Eli significantly higher.
And Mom and Dad won't like that last series, or the last two series. Peyton throws an interception. Eli has a fumble.
They hate those, and they hate 3 and outs. 3rd and 4. Play clock down to 2. Manning throws, open over the middle. That's Reggie Wayne. Manning, he comes out. Nobody's more prepared than Peyton, either mentally or physically. He goes through those trees, and you begin to wonder, John, if he went back blindfolded, if he could get the ball into Harrison and Wayne in situations like this.
I think he could. I mean, he works so hard at getting ready to play. I mean, he's as close to a perfectionist as there is in the National Football League.
Ball at the 33-yard line, which will make it very difficult for him to be a coach.
No way he'll be a coach.
That's right. Nobody would ever outwork him. Rhodes to the 28, and that's the way the third quarter will end. Colts moving up by 2 into the third quarter with the score in Indianapolis 16 and the New York Giants 14. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Back after these line up tonight, facing each other.
I don't think they're enjoying it, do you?
No, every shot we've had. It's been a nerve-wracking night for them.
Very nerve-wracking. I think it's something that they probably didn't look forward to and are going to be happy when it's over.
Second down and 5 from the 28-yard line. Rhodes. And he's going to pick up the first down. It's been a very interesting game in a lot of respects, John. The ebb and flow of the game. If somebody came up to you and said, hey, what kind of a game has it been to this point, how would you describe it?
I think that it's a very competitive game. I think these are two good teams that, were in the playoffs last year. Will probably be playoff teams again this year. But it's the first game of the season, and it's a little sloppy. And, some of the things that the Giants have done, they move the ball. This Colt defense really hasn't stopped it. They've just stopped themselves with penalties and turnovers and stupid things.
Peyton rolling, buying time, throwing, and he has Harrison inside the 5, but there's a flag down back at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Peyton was talking about last night that they wanted to run is some crossing patterns that, speed, you can win with speed going up the field, and you can also win going across the field.
Number 28, defense. We'll penalize half distance to the goal. First down.
It'll be first down and goal. Jabril Wilson with the face mask. And they change that now, and they make the foul on number 23, and that's Corey Webster.
And you just see Harrison there. He just starts to the inside and then goes back to the outside on Corey Webster.
So now first down and goal inside the 1. They're going to take Wayne and Harrison both out of the game. go to the tight formation. Line up Charlie Johnson as a tight end on the right side. They threw him a pass earlier. Darrell Reed comes in as the fullback. Dominique Rhodes is the tailback. Reed says, I'm a defensive lineman. Give me that call again.
Just lead block right there.
Just do that, and he does not get in as Corey Webster saves the touchdown. Dominique Rhodes is out of bounds, just shy of the goal line.
I think Darrell Reed was blocking. I think he expected Dominique Rhodes to cut inside of him. You're going to see him come out here, see him lead right there, and he's expecting Rhodes to cut inside, and he blocks him right into the tackler.
Colts averaging just 2.4 yards per rush. All they need here, about 18 inches. Second and goal. And it will be Rhodes who is able to angle in for a touchdown. So Peyton and the Indianapolis Colts are able to capitalize on the turnover and spread some daylight here between themselves and the Giants.
Yeah, you're always going to get a wedge and a push right here and just get that thing there happening and then get up over it. If that linebacker is coming down, then you go over. If he's coming up, then you try and get down underneath it.
Important extra point, and as much as it would make it a two-possession game. A 9-point lead, wobbly kick. A little bit of a duck, but it goes through. Vinatieri with the extra point. That makes it a 9-point game. 23-4. Well, Manning, Peyton with 251, Eli a little less. And the touchdown there after the turnover makes it a 9-point game. Morton fields Vinatieri's kick 2 yards in the end zone. Brings it back to the 22. Rob Morris makes the hit. Andrea Kramer.
Well, at the end of the first half, we saw guard Chris Snee, arguably the Giants' best offensive lineman, limp off the field. He had x-rays on his left ankle at halftime. He's obviously out for the game. His status will be evaluated tomorrow. As for defensive end Osi Umenyiora, he has leg cramps, and he's in the locker room right now getting an IV.
All right, keep an eye on that when the Giants come back on defense, as the Giants right now with the offensive unit beginning at the 22-yard line.
That's what no huddle offense will do to you, make you get IVs if you're a defensive player.
Eli Manning to Shockey. First down, 11-yard gain. Ball spotted at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, one of the things that Eli Manning was working on this year is his mechanics, where his feet are always in the right position to throw. You know, he doesn't want to have to throw deep when his feet aren't ready. So that's part of it. You know, get back, get your 5 steps, get your shuffle in, and then have your feet right so you can make your throw. And for the most part, his mechanics have been pretty good tonight.
12 and a half left. Ball at the 34-yard line. Colts up by 9. To the outside, and Carter started to look in, then had to go out. And the pass incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
I think when he has problems, you know, it's his accuracy. I mean, you know, you look at Peyton, and he always puts it right on his receiver, and Eli not so much. You'll see this is just a 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3, and that ball didn't go where he wanted it to go.
There's Umenyiora after the IV coming back out. Second down and 10. Barber. High steps his way for a first down to the 45-yard line. Tiki Barber.
You know, the Giants could do things if they can just avoid those penalties. I mean, they can run the ball, they can make throws, they can make some big plays, but they just have to tie it together. I mean, they have proven that they can run the ball on this Colt defense. I mean, Tiki Barber can gain yardage in pretty big chunks.
22 there, 102 in the game for Barber on 16 carries. Giants are averaging 7.1 yards per rush from the 44. And that pass is a little overthrown for Toomer. When you look at a game 45 minutes into the game, and one team is averaging 7.1 per rush and the other's averaging 2.3, you figure, well, the 7.1 has to have a 2-touchdown lead.
But, you know, talking about running, one of the things that has impressed me about Peyton Manning tonight is how much he's run or scrambled and made big plays. I mean, the Colts haven't been able to run the ball, but Peyton Manning has run the ball to buy time to make big plays in the passing game.
Tremendous feel through the air. Manning has thrown for 255 yards. Peyton, that is. Eli now throws, and that's Shockey making the catch. So Shockey very much in the game after a pretty silent first half when he was simply blocking. Now he makes another catch. Brackett is there to tackle him, and that's 4 catches for number 80.
Watch Luke Pettigrew here handle that spin of Dwight Freeney. That's what you have to do. Get your hands on him. When he makes that spin, just be waiting there for him. And then Eli Manning can do that to Jeremy Shockey. You know, I talked about the matchups before, you know, the offensive tackles against the defensive ends on both teams. The tackles, the offensive tackles on both teams have won that battle.
Good protection. Very few sacks. Here's Barber. Barber behind a Jim Finn block. In fact, when you look at sacks, there's only been 1 in the game.
No, and that was going to be the big thing. You know, how are the Giants going to, you know, block Freeney? How are they going to block Mathis? They've done a good job. They've done the Colts have done a good job on Strahan and Umenyiora.
Eli's not been sacked at all. Peyton just once for 4 yards. Time of possession about even right now. 10:18 to go. 2nd and 4 from the 25-yard line. Barber with a nice block. Eli gets chased, and because he was chased, he was forced to get it away there as Josh Thomas, number 91, forced the issue. 3rd and 4.
Yeah, what they tried to do is they tried to have Jeremy Shockey block and then get out. And then when he left the guy that he was blocking to get out, that was the guy that put the pressure on Eli. I like Shockey. You know, I watch him on film and stuff, and just the way, you know, he plays and the way he blocks, and he's not just some fancy receiving tight end. Believe me, he is a tough guy who will really block.
You like him? Giants fans love him. 3rd down and 4 from the 24. Swinging out to Barber. That's a 1st down. And Tiki takes it to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, talking about, you know, Peyton and how well he's moved in the pocket. Watch Eli here. Again, he gets some pressure from the outside, has to move a little, and then is able to get that ball out there to Tiki. That was a little jump pass in there.
Jacobs is in as the running back. Toomer goes in motion. Jacobs to the outside. Gets a block. Turns the corner and hurdles for an 8-yard gain.
When you get 264 pounds jumping in the air, you are going to have a collision when he comes down. This is something. This is a counter play. I mean, he starts to his left, comes back to the outside to his right, had to make a little move there to get to the outside, jumps over a guy, and then comes down on that second guy. Watch this. I mean, he jumps right over Nick Harper. Then he gets his toes over his head.
2nd and 2. And Jacobs will take it to the 1. So Jacobs, full of fire, a guy who started at Coffeyville College. He was at Auburn for a while, but Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown were there. As he said, enough of this, I'm going to Southern Illinois. And now he winds up as the counterpoint to Barber.
Right, and this Giant offensive line has really done the job in run blocking, and you just get the feeling that if they have time, that they could just run the ball right down the throats of the Colts.
5 of Jacobs' 7 touchdowns last season came from the 1-yard line. That's where they are right now. Here he goes again. Tough to stop. Flag down, however. He's in the end zone, but there's a penalty at the 1-yard line. So the penalty along the line of scrimmage. The line judge comes in to tell Walt Anderson what the call is going to be. At least to discuss it with him.
Unnecessary roughness. No hay necesaria
Offside. Ready wide. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Score result for the touchdown.
They had to have a touchdown, and they get one on this drive.
Nice run by Brandon Jacobs. We'll watch Jim Finn make the lead here. He's going to make the block, the lead right there. He makes that block, and then all Brandon Jacobs has to do is cut off it. Oops.
Jay Feely for the point after a little pushing and shoving out on the field. 8:01 to go. Set up for a pretty dramatic finish. What do you think? Indy by 2. New mailbag as well. You can send in some questions as you log on to NBCSports.com, NFL.com, also with highlights of all the games from Week 1. Now Michael's John Madden, Andrea Kramer, midway through the fourth quarter, 23-21.
This lid lifter could turn into a barn burner, couldn't it?
And a couple of rows in the cornfield as well could go with it. Terrence Wilkins takes it at the 6-yard line. Up to the 30 he goes. James Butler makes the tackle. 7:54 remaining. Fourth quarter. Good ball game. 23-21 Colts. Barber is averaging 6.3. Jacobs is averaging 6.8. Chad Morton ran the ball once earlier for 22 yards, as compared to the Colts, who have had no running game tonight. Thus, the Giants 184 on the ground. Indy just 39. The rookie Joseph Adai takes the carry here, goes to the short side of the field, and gets up to the 34-yard line for a gain of 4.
You know, and again, those Giant running backs have done a good job, and in fact, in some cases, a great job. But I think you have to give a lot of credit to the offensive line. I mean, they have really, the Giant offensive line has really controlled the line of scrimmage in the running game.
This would be a good time for Indy to find a running game and use the clock. 7:20.
Yeah, Giants are in nickel defense. They were in nickel on first down also.
2nd and 6. This is Adai, and he's going to cut it back. And Adai gives them that little burst that they're looking for on the ground up to the 44-yard line. And Peyton can begin to milk the clock a little bit.
You know, and that's one of the things that you always try and do as an offense. If they want to play you nickel on 1st and 2nd down, you try and run the ball and run them out of it. And that's what the Colts are doing now. And if they can do that and get some first downs, they'll be okay.
From the 44-yard line, 6.5 remaining in the fourth. Manning throws, and that will be a short completion right over the middle of Marvin Harrison. Covered there by R.W. McQuarters.
I'll tell you, Peyton Manning got rid of that one just in time. I mean, he had 2 guys bearing down on him just before he threw that.
Kiwanuka was one of them.
Right.
Harrison has now caught 9 passes.
Toughest position in football to play, quarterback.
2nd and 6 from the 48-yard line. Manning using just about all of the clock. Snaps it at 1. Might have snapped it a little late. No. They snapped it at 1, but Jake Scott was off the ball at 1.5.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing. I mean, that silent count, again, they're not going on the count of the quarterback. They're not going on his voice. They're going on the head movement of the center. When he brings his head up and he sets, then they take 1 beat and then they go. See if we can see the head come up. Not yet. There. He just jumped before Saturday's head even came up.
2nd and 11. Manning throws. Is there a flag? No. The intended receiver, Ben Utek, grabbed from behind by Pierce, but after the pass had gone by him.
He was covered by Pierce, the middle linebacker, and the umpire.
Yeah.
was darn near used as a double coverage. I'll tell you, these Giant fans are the best defensive fans, I think, in the NFL. They have always understood when to yell for their defense.
Oh, yeah. It's New York. They smell big plays in every sport. 3rd and 11 from the 43. And this is a big play. And the receiver falls down. UTEC, he was there, he was open, he would have had the first down, but he couldn't keep his footing.
That's good defense when you can make them throw to Ben UTEC. You know, when you have a Reggie Wayne and you have a Marvin Harrison and you have a Dallas Clark and you have to throw to your second tight end, that is good defense. You took away the things that they wanted to do and the thing that they feel comfortable doing.
Hunter Smith, this will be his second punt of the night. His first one was 52 yards. He's one of the best in the league, even though sparingly used because of Indy's potent offense. Morton will field it at the 7 and go down at the 9. Eli coming out. His team down by 2. 4:58 remaining. At the 4:58 remaining in the fourth quarter. The ball is at the 10-yard line. Eli Manning starts the stride with a pass to Amani Toomer for a gain of 6 up to the 16-yard line. Harper and Gardner on the coverage. You know, I'm thinking about as you look at the Mannings again, you've got the way Jacobs is running tonight and Barber. Remember when they had Ron Dane and they thought it was going to be Thunder and Lightning? Well, they had the Lightning, but the Thunder never turned out to be the Thunder and Dane. They may now have their Thunder and Lightning with Jacobs and Barber. Here's Tiki.
Well, you know, the thing is, over the years, Tiki Barber has become such a good inside runner that they don't need him. You know, it used to be inside, outside, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside, Thunder, Lightning, the whole thing. And Tiki Barber has kind of become all-consuming.
He's brought a little bit of thunder with his leg.
Right, he does. And he has, Tiki Barber has a lot more thunder than you would think.
Mm-hmm. 3rd down and 2. Barber in the game on 3rd down. This is a big play.
Look at this, the Colts are in nickel now.
Yeah, they don't want to punt because Peyton can start taking a lot more time off the clock. Big play, 3rd and 2. Eli throws, caught Carter outside. Got position on Harper, but a penalty marker is down at the end of the play up at the 39-yard line.
Pass interference, number 84, offense.
Back it comes.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be against offense.
It's still 3rd down.
Yeah, because when the official that calls it starts running back to the huddle, it's going to be against the offense. You're going to see Carter here. Now he's even right there. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think he pushed off. I mean, he had his left elbow up there. I think you have to let him do that.
That's a real bad call.
And I think Tom Coughlin is right when he sees that. I mean, you can see the elbow come up, and that's probably what the official called, is that he pushed off with his left elbow, but I think the definition of that is ticky-tacky.
Not tiki. 3rd and 11. Manning going deep into a lot of coverage, and this time Harper picks it off. And Harper gets knocked down at the 32-yard line. So Harper's been involved in a lot of action tonight. He draws the offensive pass interference call and then makes the interception.
Right, and penalties have just killed the Giants tonight. Instead of a first down, then they have long yardage, and then what Eli's trying to do there is another one of those jump balls. I mean, throw it up, think that Plexico Burress can catch it anywhere. And of course, that's tougher when he's coming inside. Had he left it outside, I mean, that was just a poor throw by Eli Manning, because Plexico Burress is going up the outside. That ball should have been thrown outside over his outside shoulder, not to the inside.
Now with 3:51 to go. Manning at the 34-yard line. Rhodes is the running back. Dominique won't get out of the backfield. Taken down for a loss back at the 41 by LeVar Arrington. But Manning can now milk the clock, and the Giants have to decide when to take their timeouts. And the first one will come right here. to conserve the clock. 2-point game. Jay is new all week. Deal or no deals. Howie Mandel is on. Conan's got Matthew Perry's inside scoop on Studio 60. A great new week for NBC late night. Giants have taken their first time out. It's now 2nd down and 16 for the Indianapolis Colts at the 40-yard line. Colts by 2. Manning to Rhodes. He'll get stopped at the 37-yard line, and the Giants will use another timeout. Back to what was ruled offensive pass interference on Tim Carter.
And like I said, I don't see anything here. I mean, I know what he called. You see, his left elbow, Carter's left elbow, is going to get caught up with Nick Harper's, and he just kind of gets caught up, and they call it a push-off. But that sure didn't look like a penalty to me.
No, and then Harper loses his balance too and falls down, which exacerbates it in terms of what the official saw or thought he saw.
And I don't think that elbow was the cause of Harper falling down. And then right after that, then Eli throws a bad pass. I mean, you know, Plexico Burress is going up the sideline, and the ball should have been thrown up the sideline and maybe to his outside, and he just threw a bad throw, threw it inside.
3rd and 13. If nothing else, the Colts looking to get into better position for Vinatieri and turn a 2-point game into maybe a 5-point game. 3rd and 13 on a big play here, and not only do they come a lot closer for Vinatieri, but pick up the first down, and now they can eat the clock a little bit more with the Giants having 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. Dallas Clark, big catch.
That was a thing that talking to Tom Moore, he said that when they studied in the offseason, they found that they didn't throw to Dallas Clark enough. And one of the goals they have this year is getting him more involved, and involved right there in the middle of the field on plays just like that. Don't you feel that there's a lot on Peyton Manning now that, I mean, they really don't have a running game, so if they're going to make any yardage, it's all on his shoulders to do. And he does it.
Yeah, he knows it. I think Dungy knows it. I think Tom Moore knows it, too. Rhodes to the 17-yard line, tripped up by Jabril Wilson. On 3rd down with 10 or more to go. And the Giants are going to take their final timeout here. Marvin Harrison is also shaken up and is still down on one knee. So Harrison gets up slowly, and we'll be back in a moment. Number 88 there is Marvin. Had a nice night, 9 catches for 113 yards. The Giants are out of timeouts. It'll stop once more at the 2-minute warning. It's 2nd down and 4. If this play takes at least 4 seconds, then the Colts can take it all the way down to the 2-minute warning without running another play. Rhodes, and he takes it to the 14-yard line, and indeed Manning, knowing the math right now, looking at the play clock and the game clock, does not have to run another play until after the 2-minute warning. Tony knows it as well.
You know, we were talking about the offensive line of the Giants, and we talked about the tackles and the pass protectors, and these 2 tackles of the Colts have won that battle also.
Well, you summed it up at the top, John, about who's going to protect whom, what's going to happen in that regard. And again, you go back in a game between these 2 teams with that firepower, especially at the defensive end positions. Only 1 sack in the game early on against Peyton.
Right, and I think everyone would have guessed that the defensive ends, the pass rushers, will probably win that battle on both sides, and they won on neither side.
2-minute warning. Colts trying to hang on, up by 2 at the Meadowlands.
And Marvin Lewis epitomizes that, take them 1 game at a time, huh?
Yep.
Won this one. I don't even know who we play next week, but we'll be there.
John Gruden saying you can't say anything offensively when you score 0 points, but I'm sure you can say some offensive things.
I'll tell you, losing hard. It's really hard to take, and winning doesn't equate it.
So here we go, 3rd and 2. If the Colts convert, they can run the clock out. If they don't, then a likely field goal attempt to make it a 5-point game, but at least the Giants would have the ball back. But if they get 2 yards here, good night. And they give it to the rookie Adai, and the Giants are still in the game. Now, they cannot stop the clock. So the Colts now can bring in their field goal unit and take this thing down to about 1:15 and try to make it a 5-point game. 4th down, Manning. But he's going to line up, and I mean, there's nothing to lose here. You just run the clock all the way down. Then you bring in the field goal unit.
That's right. By not bringing in the field goal unit, at least you know that the guy's not going to snap the ball, that you're going to take the full amount of time by leaving your quarterback, Peyton Manning, in there.
And in fact, you're taking an extra about 4 or 5 seconds off the clock, too, because you take this all the way down. It would have gone there anyway had you kicked the field goal. Now, by the time you run the field goal play, that's another 4 or 5 seconds off the clock as well. So perfectly executed by Indianapolis here, strategically. Next week, we go to Texas, to Texas Stadium, Irving. Dallas against Washington. It's always great. You know that Owens is back. Terrell Owens in action against Jacksonville, but the Jaguars won it. Skins will open up against Minnesota tomorrow. And that will be the matchup from Big D next week.
Done a lot of those games over the years, and there have been a lot of great Redskin-Cowboy games.
Love them. Just love them. 33-yard field goal attempt for Adam Vinatieri. Hunter Smith to hold. And Adam Vinatieri, one of the great clutch kickers in the history of the National Football League, has just compelled the Giants to score a touchdown and not get a field goal to win this game with 1:12 and no timeouts. The Giants were very proficient last year in the last 2 minutes of each half. In fact, best in the league in terms of scoring. And Eli, of course, would be at the helm of most of those opportunities and drives. As you can see, the numbers there, impressive. So here we go in that situation again.
You know, you would like in this situation at least to have one timeout. I mean, this is a tough thing the Giants have to do because, as you say, they have to score a touchdown, and then being able to do it in 1:12 with no timeouts is very difficult.
26-21. Well, we're going to have a new Sunday Night Football rock star. And the picture will go up on the top of 30 Rock, top of the GE building. We've come a long way from the horse trailer, John.
That is the top of the Rock. I mean, what an honor for a player to be up there, and he's going to be up there all year too.
Here's Chad Morton from the 7-yard line and run out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Rob Morris. So 1:06 now for Eli and company. Tom Coughlin, his team down by 5 and no one. They have to go to Philadelphia and Seattle over the next 2 weeks.
Philadelphia was really impressive today, and as we said earlier, to me they've been impressive all preseason. Donovan McNabb looks like he's completely back.
From the 23-yard line, 4-man rush. Eli hangs in, throws, caught, 43-yard line. Colts say no. Tim Carter says yes. The officials now say no. One is spotting the ball, but the other says no. One official was spotting the ball at the 43-yard line, but the other guy comes in and says nuh-uh.
And the one that said nuh-uh was right.
Yep.
The ball did hit the ground.
Right. And again, you're in a situation, there are no challenges now. We're under 2 minutes, so anything that had to be looked at would have to be initiated from upstairs.
They owe him a little time in the clock, though. Yeah, they saw that. Because the clock kept running,
right,
and then, of course, it would stop on an incomplete pass.
57 seconds now, 2nd down and 10. Archie's to the point he's back in the tunnel somewhere. Olivia just looking around the corner. Eli under pressure, stepping away. nifty. Shockey. And Shockey should have stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he should have gone out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, at the 34-yard line. At this point, without a timeout, you got to try to get out of bounds. Now Eli's going to get up there, and I would assume try to spike the ball, or at least he should.
He should get up and spike it.
Yeah, precious seconds are wasted here, and he's going to look to the outside again, and that's going to be caught and staying in bounds. That's a big tackle there. Amani Toomer tackled by Sanders, and Sanders is able to keep him in bounds, and now Eli's got to go up there and spike it, but they have wasted a lot of precious seconds. Down to 17.
Yeah, I don't think Eli meant to get in the shotgun on that one and not be able to spike it, although he did complete the ball.
You got a flag because everybody was not set. Looked like he double pumped on the spike.
Illegal snap on the center. Offense. By rule with the clock running inside of a minute. We'll run 10 seconds off of the game clock. Please put 7 seconds on the clock, and the clock will wind on my signal.
Yeah, that's a killer. They put that rule in a couple of years ago. The offensive foul, 10-second runoff. They moved it twice, so we're down to maybe the final play of the game with 7 seconds. And they need 55 yards. And that pass is out of bounds, and that is it. So the Giants without a timeout. The crowd is frustrated. Coughlin's expression will say it all. It was a long shot to begin with at the end of the game, but they really didn't do anything to help themselves over the final minute. And the boys get together at midfield.
Yeah, you know that there'd be no way that they'd have a private minute after this game.
And that's the way it will end, with Peyton Manning throwing for 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Eli Manning, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And there are the final numbers. For comparative purposes, Eli does wind up with a higher rating, but Peyton gets the W. And next week, the Colts go home to face Houston, and then Jacksonville the following week. The Giants, as we say, a tough opening road on to Philadelphia and Seattle. Rock star of the game, highlights and interviews.